with Erin. This is Tough Talk, and we have Josh Hester from Listen to Your Heart tonight. It's an exclusive, so make sure you tune in, and invite anybody who would like to hear from him. So I'm going to grab him now. Very excited to have him with me. Hi, guys. We're going to do a shot. Hey, Josh. How are you guys doing tonight? Are we so excited about Caitlin and Jason? I am thrilled for them. So excited. Yes, I have Josh. Josh is going to tell us everything. Hi. So, Josh, you might have to leave and come back if it's not letting you, hello, if it's not letting you join. So just let me know. This will be a great convo that you don't want to miss. I'm happy to. Hi, Josh.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Good.
There you are. Now I can hear you.
Right,
Hello from... Yeah, no problem.
So, can you see me good?
Yeah, you're good.
Right.
Cutting me off a little bit, but we're good. We're good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sitting here with some friends, having a couple margaritas. So.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's dark. Are you guys outside?
Yeah. So, yeah, and you can see the pool behind us. So we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice. Oh my gosh. Jealous.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that sounds amazing. We are getting a pool in a few weeks and I cannot wait. That's where you will find me. Very exciting. So you wanted to come live with me. I wanted to have you live with me so that we could have an open and honest conversation. We're going to get to everything that happened, but before, if you would oblige me, I would love to get to know you a little bit better. That's kind of what we do here. Are you okay? Are you open to that? Chatting a little bit? Okay, perfect. Now, I know you are a Florida boy. Were you born and raised in Florida?
Born and raised. This will always be home. Couldn't think of anywhere else I'd rather be. So yeah, this is home.
Love that. Now, have you traveled all over, or are you kind of a homebody?
So I've traveled a little bit. When I was in college, I spent some time in the Northeast traveling with a singing group, and that was fun.
Cool.
And then right now, I moved to Nashville. That's obviously we'll get to that. And then went out to LA. Right now, I travel, yes, I've traveled a few places.
You. There you are.
Is it?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. I can see you fine. You're just cutting in and out. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear fine.
Okay. Sometimes there's just connection issues. It happens. It's okay, guys. Hold tight with us. Hang tight. We're going to do a shot here in a minute, too. Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. What were you saying about Nashville? You were saying, and then you cut out.
That's just Wi-Fi. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. You know how the iPhones, they like back and forth between service and Wi-Fi. So that was probably the problem. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No worries. No, you said that you moved to Nashville, or you were talking about Nashville?
Yeah. So, about 3 years, I was working for a friend. Or I'm sorry, I had retired early from being a deputy sheriff. I was a deputy sheriff for Polk County. I did that for 8 years. I retired early, and then was working for a friend. And then I just, something I always wanted to do was to kind of pack my bags and just take off, and I did. I took off to Nashville, and it was a crazy I met my roommate on Facebook. Like, it put an ad out there. It was like, yo, I need a roommate. And sure enough, found this girl, and we ended up being roommates. And it was great. It was so much fun. Nashville is an amazing place.
And you moved there, you said 3 years ago?
Yeah, that was about 3 years ago now. Yeah, that's crazy how time
3 years ago.
flies.
Right,
Today.
I know. So when
Crazy.
you were growing up, when did you know that you had musical talent? Was there a point in your life you're like, I can sing?
I still remember the first like a song I like on a stage. Um, and it was literally, and I'm not kidding you, I remember this. It was my kindergarten graduation. And
Wow.
I remember the theme of we were all excited because tomorrow we were all going to graduate our kindergarten graduation. And I sang a song called, it goes, I can't wait until tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. That song, I sang the very
Yes.
ever sang that I remember. And it was, yeah. And I guess that was kind of the beginning of my singing career. I don't know if I really ever have or have had a singing career, but that was the beginning.
Oh, I love that. That's pretty young to remember that memory so vividly too. So that's awesome.
My mother that the other day, and she was like, "You remember that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Sang this.
Right.
What? She was pretty impressed.
So now I'm nervous because I have a 5, almost 6-year-old son, and I'm thinking he's going to remember all of this. I better be careful. Right.
I remember some other things too, but we'll just kind of leave that out of the.
Oh no. Moving on. So were you girl crazy? Like were you into girls early, or were you more of like a late bloomer, or how were you with girls? Do you have crushes?
So I spent most of my younger years, and I love to fish, and so I spent most of my younger years just by myself. Hop on my bike, like disappear, and I have my fish. I mean, I girls interest me. I didn't care when I anything more than finding a place to go fish. Weird or not, but that was me. I don't know.
Priorities. I get it.
Priorities.
Fishing, there's something special about fishing. I agree. I agree with that. Definitely. Being from Kentucky, I can identify. And Florida too. We're both from Florida.
Okay.
I love that. So when was your first girlfriend? How old were you?
Man, I was in love with a girl. Uh, Lauren. That was the very first girl that I ever remember as like a girlfriend. But she was actually my girlfriend. I don't remember, but I remember Lauren. I remember. Yeah, that was the very first one. I was really young, really young.
Like like not even a teenager yet?
But like elementary school. Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry.
Um, so in school, did you know what you wanted to do? I know you said you retired from the police academy, but did you know that you wanted to be a police officer? Did you know you wanted to help people, like anything like that?
No, so I kind of fell into that. Um, I went to college. Went to a little private Christian college in Pensacola, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I love music, and I think I went there originally for broadcasting and trying to get into that side of things. And then, you know, I really didn't have much of a direction, and there really wasn't. Their music program really wasn't like something that interests me. I was more into like country music and more secular music, and they were really like Christian music driven, and it's fine. But I just kind of lost interest in that side of things, and then I was like, you know what, be kind of cool. So I went ahead and started studying criminal justice. Um, I uh, after 2 years, I got a job offer, and I was just like, I didn't like the school, and I was like, I'm just going to take off and go, and so I did. And I ended up getting a job at the Polk County Sheriff's Office. So I was there for,
Okay.
so, and I was, just kind of fell into it.
Did you, I know you left, was there a reason for you leaving, or were you just kind of like, this is just not for me anymore?
So there was really no reason. I knew that so my rationale behind leaving was that I had been given a voice, a singing voice, and I wasn't doing anything with it. And
Right.
difficult for me to accept because I feel like, we're all kind of given different things and gifts or whatnot. And, what we do with them is up to us. And so I figured, why really try to do something with this. So in the back of my mind, it was the reason for me retiring early was because I wanted to be able to chase that dream if I felt I needed to. And it took me a good almost 2 years after retiring early to decide to move to Nashville. But that was really the factor was just I really wanted to kind of see what I could do with music. So.
Yeah. You didn't want that talent to go to waste. You wanted to see what kind of opportunity could come from it. And that's great. I mean, I'm glad that you did,
Right.
I always encourage people to chase their dreams, follow their dreams. And if you're giving a God-given talent, you should do something with it. So kudos to you to do that, definitely. Okay, so this next part, I think this is a great time for us to take a shot. You said you take a shot with me.
We might need it.
You ready? Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, let me pour mine real quick. I've got my this one. I love it.
Hey.
Okay. Cheers to you, Josh, for being on my show, opening up and being honest.
Here we go.
Oh, dang. I swear that gets stronger every time.
Right. Let me show you what I'm drinking.
Ooh. Oh, nice, nice. This is, I can never pronounce it, Mezquipal. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Flavored tequila. Got it in Cabo a couple weeks ago. Doing pretty well on that too. I just use it exclusively for the show for shots, just for fun. So
Yeah,
it's special.
I used to be a whiskey drinker, and I still drink whiskey, but I don't know. I feel like tequila makes me happier. Makes me outgoing and just fun, I guess.
Yeah. I can't drink regular tequila. It has to be flavored, or I want nothing to do with it. That's just how I am. I don't know. Okay, so let's get into it. So you're in Nashville, and how did you get involved with Listen to Your Heart? How did that happen?
Another thing I just fell into. I'm not even kidding. So I moved to Nashville, and it's expensive to live up there. So I didn't have a job when I moved. All I had was a 2008 Toyota Camry, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna drive Uber because why not? Pay some bills, take a shot, have fun, and see what happens. So I did. Oh, and sorry, my friend over here, and network, because that was one of the big things about Nashville is who you know and meeting people. So that was one of the best ways that I found to network was to just kind of get out there and introduce yourself, and Uber was like the thing, man. I could meet 50, 60 people a night, and not have to spend $1, make money, doing it. I started driving for Uber. It was great. It was making good money, and I would sing more. So I'd pick people up, and I'd be like, hey, and I'd introduce myself, and I'd say I'm Josh, and I'm your driver for the night or wherever you're going, and they'd ask, hey, where are you from? And then I would say, well, I'm from Florida, and they'd ask, well, what are you doing here? And well, I'm here for music. I write songs and play and sing, and And of course, the next question would be, well, can you sing something for us? So,
Of course.
so I just bust out in a song. And, people would break their phones out and they'd be recording. Because, I mean, this is what's more Nashville than your Uber driver singing a song to you,
Right, right. I love it.
Yeah, so one night, I picked up a lady named Diana. Picked her up, didn't think nothing of it, sang her song. And she kind of chuckled in the back seat. And I was like, oh, geez, like, was it that bad? So uh, she was like, just out of nowhere, was like, you want to be on TV? And I'm like, serious? She's like, on TV. Now, at the time, Diana was casting, and I don't know if you remember the show. I mean, I can something country. It was a country singing show that was only had one episode. No, it wasn't country. It was anyway. She was casting a singing show it was just based in Nashville, which was focused on artists in Nashville. And she was like, "Dude, we need people." And I'm like, "All right, cool." So I uh, we kept contact, and they had filled all the positions, so I didn't make that show. So I was a little upset about that, and I was like, probably wouldn't. So I just went about my day, just kept going, doing what I was doing, networking, meeting people, and a couple months later, Diana posts a post about The Bachelor looking for people for a show, and I said, "Hey, Diana," I said, "Do you think it'd be good for me?" She's like, "Oh my God, it'd be perfect." And I'm like, all right, cool. So she her recommendation. Um, and then I ended up with an email and a phone call and started the interview process. So literally, this whole thing started from an Uber ride.
That's awesome, though. Do you feel like it was meant to be in a way? I mean, just how it was so organic?
Well, I mean,
We'll get to what happened, but
yeah, kind of. I mean, I think, everything's kind of meant to be. And I feel like that what way you look at it, and what happened or anything like that, it was still a really awesome experience. I mean, I have a story that I'll be able to tell, whenever I do have kids and grandkids of like how I ended up on TV, So,
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I don't, yeah, I think it was really cool. It was really cool how it all happened.
Okay, so we get to, you get through casting, you get through everything, you get to LA, and the first night. Tell us about that first night when you stepped out of is it a limo or it was just a car, right? Just like a town
But,
car or something?
but I'll spill some secrets. So there's actually only
Okay.
one like super nice black SUV. One.
Okay.
And you switch cars right before you go on secret for you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, uh, yeah. So first of all, I want to say this. I don't have anything against uh, ABC or any of the, but you know, I just kind of want to tell my side of what happened. So I'll just put that out there first. So the first night was awesome. So I'm sitting in a hotel room, just like waiting for my turn, and it's like forever. I'm dressed in my outfit, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, Josh, you ready? Of course, been ready for like 2 hours. So yeah, put you in the SUV, and the driver has no idea where. He just knows where he's taking. He doesn't have a clue. So, but the suspense, when I tell you the suspense was incredible, the suspense was incredible. I have never felt that feeling before. It was like so tense. Like you pull into this like big long driveway with this gated, and there's people everywhere, and they're like blocking traffic, and there's security, and this guy, and this producer, and this person, and there's 500 people with headsets. It was unbelievable. Um, the longest the longest winding road up to this mansion that I've ever been on, I'm sure. Um, And there's stops along the way prepping you. It was so much fun. It was so cool. Um, right before we switch cars and get into the actual delivery vehicle, um, you know, I was nervous because I mean it was so intense. There was so many people. Um, yeah. Tell me when you want me to stop because I'll keep going. So
No, no, no. Keep. We're like, I'm on your last, like, every word. Go ahead. You're fine.
so we are. There's this like station right before where they like prep you with makeup and everything. So you're like all makeuped up and you're ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do. It's great. So I'm in the car, pull up, and there's Chris Harrison. Like now, mind you, I have never seen any, and I feel like this is why they picked a lot of us because I've heard several of your interviews where a lot of us say the same thing. I have
Yeah.
never seen a show. I was not a fan. I didn't care. I would audition again. So I see Chris Harrison. I know who this guy is, but I don't. It's like the guy. That's that guy. The guy that's on TV all the time. But, I mean, he's not in my but he's not a celebrity because I didn't know. So get out of the mansion and they're like, all right, go shake Chris Harrison's hand. I'm like, all right, cool. So like I get out, walk up, hey man, what's up? Of course, I didn't have no hair at the time. By the way, for those of you watching, I was the guy with
Right.
no. I have hair now. Isn't it
Yeah.
wonderful? But anyway, so I um and I'm like, there's of course there's production and everything, and they're like pointing you in directions. They're like, all right, go up this staircase, go up this staircase, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, go up this staircase, and there's like production's waving you on, I'm like, come on, come on, come on, and you're like walking your way in. I am completely out of my element. I have no idea what I'm doing. To me, it's just this big, beautiful hallway, and there's people and cameras and lights. I'm like, what? I couldn't tell who was there for the show or who was there doing like filming. It was incredible. I was just like a lost puppy. It was crazy. The end of this hallway, go that way, go that way. I'm like, all right, cool. So I turn, and I don't even remember who I saw first. All I know is there were a bunch of people. I think I was one of. I think I was. I don't think I was last, but I was pretty close to the end coming in. So there were a bunch of people talking, and now I don't know any of these people, and I'm just like walking up into this, and I've got to like introduce myself and like not look like a complete. Everybody's dressed because they're all artists, so like they all kind of have their vibe, right? Now I'm in a suit, like a full suit. You know, everybody's different. It was so interesting. I don't remember who I talked to first, but I do remember I kind of just like mingled my way into this like group, and I was like, "Hey guys, nice to meet you." Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. So I'll stop there. There you go for now.
No, you're fine. Just a surreal experience. Like, you could never, it was nothing that you even imagined, right? It was just, yeah, just like out of body. Yeah.
So I didn't know what. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. So, do you remember any of the
Go ahead.
conversations? I mean, you said you don't remember meeting anybody. Obviously, remember some of the conversations, but anything that's memorable, anything, I mean, we'll get to what happened, obviously, that first rose ceremony, but in between, like anything we need to know that you want to share with us is totally fine.
Um, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to do. Like I like what am I supposed to do? You know, like because there was no instruction. It was basically just hey, be yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was dating then and there, or if we were gonna go songs, or if we were gonna go like I didn't know. So I was just like, hey, introducing myself. I do remember that the first night, like eventually after everybody kind of warmed up to each other, I do remember talking to Rudy. I think Rudy was the first girl that I talked to.
Okay.
Like one-on-one conversation I had was Rudy. And she was super cool, super fun, obviously. It's Rudy. Um, yeah, remember we were sitting, like we sat right outside the main area and just had a conversation. And I think I remember saying something like, "Yeah, I'd go on a date with you," or something like that. Like it was just kind of, it was so cool. It was so funny, but it was so much fun, you know. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I remember us it turning into, "Hey guys, like I think Danny or Chris or somebody jumped on a piano." And as a musician, I I'm not. So let me back up. I'm not. I do not consider myself a musician. I sing occasionally in the shower and while I'm driving a car, and that's how I ended up on the show. So I was completely out of my so talented. Like every one of them, if you look through their like sheet and their list of like accomplishments, like I'm an Uber driver. Like I just sing, you know, write songs, but like these guys were so awesome. Um, Chris jumped on the piano, and Danny jumped on the piano, and somebody grabbed the guitar. And this is the stuff that y'all didn't get to see. We
Right.
we like there was a vibe. Everybody was just singing songs we knew together. Like this is the first night. It was like just this boom, crowd around the piano, everybody singing, and everybody singing a verse. So we'd switch the song, and everybody's singing. Like I wish that you guys
Oh,
could
I
see.
love that.
Right, I
Yeah.
wish that you guys, because that was the real listen to your heart. The real listen to your heart wasn't all the drama. The real listen to your heart was everybody just hanging out, like getting to know each other through music. Um, and it was, when I say magical, it was literally magical. Uh,
Mhm.
we're from all over the country are now crowded around a piano and singing songs that we all know, like showing off our talents and stuff like that. And just that was what Listen to Your Heart I feel like was really about. But I was only there one night, but that was it was so much fun, and it really just I feel like it just kind of really connected everybody so quick and so like so strongly, which is why we're still most of us are still all friends because it's like
Yeah.
that's you
I love that.
know on. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. I love hearing that. And, I think you guys had actually the least amount of drama with any cast, but they focused on that so much that it looked like you guys had a lot of drama, but you really didn't. And that's what everybody said, that there really wasn't that much drama. But because, the focus, it's all about the editing, it's all about the production, of everything and how like orchestrated everything is. So
right, absolutely.
yeah, it's disappointing for sure. So take us into, first of all, when did you know that there was going to be something like a rose ceremony? Like, were you given a heads up at all about that, or was it just kind of, were you just thrown into it?
Yeah, they broke down like what was going to. So I think see, starting out it was 8 girls, 10 guys. So obviously the
Okay.
numbers were like, hang on a second. Oh, somebody just messaged me and said, "You were on TV?" From Instagram. That's interesting. So
Oh, wow.
they sat us down the first night. Chris Harrison came in and all serious and did the whole. So you need to focus on relationships. So
Yeah.
that's when things were kind of like, oh man, this is really going to get interesting because we had all after we had been singing and hanging out together. Now we're all friends. We're going to be friends forever.
Right.
Now we've got
Mm-hmm.
the competition, and you're going to have to try to steal your buddy's girl. Like that's pretty much what happened. So the guys obviously realized, hey, there's 8 of us or 10 of us and 8 of them. Like, all right, so we got to figure this out. So, we all talked about it, and we just and it was a late night. I remember. I don't think I got to the mansion until goodness 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we didn't go to bed until like 3 or 4. Like it was late, super late, and then we had to. So
What was that you cut out? Can you repeat that?
up at 7 a.m. the next day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh.
I was thinking, so you're in a new place, you're in a mansion, beautiful, and now you only get 2 hours of sleep. But are you actually going to sleep those 2 hours?
No.
So I remember the first night. So the first night, Sheridan and I we became friends. He was actually my bunkmate. So he was on the bottom bunk and I was on the top bunk, and we became friends right off the bat. We were friends. It was cool. He was on the bottom. I was on the top bunk. I remember I did not sleep at all the first night. Of course, 2 hours, 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Did not sleep. I couldn't sleep. It was impossible. I mean, we had to be up at 7 a.m. None of us knew what was going to happen. We didn't. It was a competition. I had a room full of really good-looking, like ripped, talented guys, and and now I've got to figure this out. So yeah, I didn't sleep at all. I remember the first morning, 7 o'clock comes early. So like I did not sleep, so I'm like dead. My eyes, I wear contacts, so my eyes are all just like, tired. And I remember like fumbling with this big pile of suitcases right in the middle of the room. Because yeah, we didn't have time to do anything. So I at 7 o'clock in the morning. I think where it was great. And I look, like I open my suitcase and I look up and there's a guy on the steps with a camera, like right on me. And I'm like,
my gosh.
Bro,
hello.
So yeah, so that kind of first night was great. Everybody was super cool. And then that was bleeding into the next morning. So.
And then what happened the next day? Is that when, did you leave that next day?
No,
basically?
Yeah, I did. So there was,
okay.
So it happened so fast and everything's such a blur that it was like, yeah. So they told us, hey, there's going to be a rose ceremony. And we were like, wait, what? Like, we got to figure this out now. I think I talked to Rudy. That's the only, no, I talked to Rudy. I think I said hey to Mel. I talked to Mel for just a second. But anyway, I hadn't really talked to anybody. And so yeah, so the next morning we get up, everything's kind of happening. We're all just kind of hanging around the mansion and just trying to get to know each other. And again, I'm still out of my element. I didn't, so of course guys and girls are pairing off and walking off and camera crews are chasing them. And I was kind of just like, so I'll say this. The first night, I didn't really meet anyone that I was like, or even like, I didn't see or meet anyone that I was like 100% like, hey, that's the girl I want to talk to. I was just kind of like, oh, everybody's nice, everybody's pretty, everybody's cool. So I was kind of just like hanging out. So, meanwhile, they're like making people make hot tubs and people are pairing off and going on walks. So the next day, kind of a mess. Really wasn't sure what I was gonna do. Like, what was I supposed to be doing? Like everybody was kind of pairing off, and I'm not the guy. I didn't feel like I was the guy that wanted to just like go break something up. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah.
A couple of the guys. I talked to Jack. I know he probably hasn't. Have you had Jack on here at all?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so Jack. Another guy that left the first night. So I just hung out with him, and talked to him for a little bit. I talked to a lot of the guys. Talked to Sheridan. Sheridan and Julia had been vibing. Trevor and Jamie like the first night. Chris and Bree the first day.
Okay.
Matt, like, boom, hot tub, like it, boom.
Yeah.
So, so I was just kind of hanging around, and kind of I was talking to people, but I really wasn't pursuing anything. I think at one time I had talked to one of the producers Like, he's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I going to do? He's like, well, you going to go talk to somebody? I was like, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. It was it was just such a
Yeah.
different vibe. It's something I was used to. So I remember, and I'll just continue. Yeah, I'll just talk about what happened with me. There was a lot of stuff that happened, but I don't want to
Okay.
sit here and stuff that other
Okay.
people haven't. That's their thing, not mine.
Right. Right.
So I remember, Julia walked up to me, hey, we should get to know each other. And I was like, okay, cool. That'll work. So at that point, we were going into something like some sort of meeting with Chris Harrison. I was like, no problem. That'll be good. Just really just professional, kind of just nice and sweet. Hey, we should get to know each other. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. So we went in and had our meeting. Um, it was getting later in the evening. And I'm sorry, I didn't. I left the next night, so I was there a total of 3 days. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
right, this night, this is kind of getting into some of the details that nobody saw, like
Right.
nobody. So Sheridan had been vibing with Julia. Okay. Hang on. Are you shy, or you just didn't feel the groove with anyone? That's the question. Hang on. Okay. All right. I'm a little shy. So Julia, Julia and I, we started having a conversation, and I was she's such a sweetheart, and I can tell you right now that the way that I did not watch the rest of the show because of what happened. But I can tell you from what I've heard from other cast, not show her in a very good light. But when I tell you she is a sweetheart and she is such a nice person and such a nice girl, she was so genuine. And I think just her being that genuine was just like such a breath of fresh air and a complete mess of what was going on. So I sat down with Julia and we had a fantastic conversation. We spent that like whole evening together. We talked and had a good time and talked about family and talked about her and her accomplishments. And by the way, she is super accomplished and
Yes.
just like seriously.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was basically just me and Julia. We spent time together, and there were cameras on us. They followed us around. We snuck away at one point and out by one of the campfires, and like there was a I could see the camera way off, but they were like zooming in on us, and that was kissed. So we kissed out by the camp by this fire, and then we proceeded to just continue to kiss. And of course, the cameras and everybody's watching, and it was such a moment. It was actually really romantic. Um, yeah, so things got rather interesting with Julia and I. Um, and of course, this is television, so she was still talking to Sheridan and going back and forth between Sheridan and me, and obviously that's absolutely fine. Sheridan and I are friends; we talk all the time. There's between either of us, no matter what anything is. It seems like. So the end of the night comes. We're all going to bed. We get early in the me and Julia are walking around and talking and getting to know each other even more. So I walk her all the way back up the stairs, all the way into her room, and give her a kiss goodnight. So give her a kiss. The next day, we know the evening rose ceremony.
Wait, you're cut out. What'd you say, Josh? What'd you say? The next day.
So I'm all positive vibes, like, yo, like,
oh yeah,
I kind of like this girl. Right, she's really sweet. She's genuine. and give her a kiss goodnight. She smiles. I smile. Good times, good vibes. Again, none of this, any camera, airtime, none of it. Nobody knew this happened. So I get back to my bunk, and I'm like, okay, good to go. Like, this isn't kind of dick. We each is, I'm a sucker. Like, you can, for me, I'll just say this, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but being pretty is, I like to be attracted to who I am with, but you can be sweet and genuine, and that's a total that it. So she was so sweet and so genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back to my bunk. Guys all have their guy talk, oh, this, that, and the other. And they're like, hey, Josh, who you vibing with? I'm like, I'm vibing with Julia. And of course, Sheridan's like, I'm vibing too. And I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Like, give him the fist bump. Yeah, like, this never made it. Never made it. Like, at all. Yeah. So, we, you want me to keep going? Or do you have any more questions?
Yeah, of course. No. I want you to talk about this experience. I'm not going to interrupt you. If I have a question, I'll pop in, but go for it.
All right. So the next day, we are not allowed to see or talk to the girls until
Really?
right. Dead serious. That's great because I just kissed this girl goodnight. I just spent the whole evening with her.
You're golden.
Right. I'm in the book, man. I'm ready to go. So I see we're all kind of moving around. The guys went for a run. We worked out. It was great. The girls were doing whatever the heck they were doing. So I walked back in the mansion, and Julia's there, and we crossed paths, and there's production. They're like, oh, and I'm like, hey, good to see you. Good morning. And she's like, and I'm like, it's all right. So whatever. Again, I'm golden. This is great. This is fantastic. So I go up to my room. Guys just kind of hang out, playing guitar, working out. Sheridan and I have a conversation. Everything's positive. I remember we talked about Julia. He's like, dude, he's like, bro, whoever gets the rose, like, that's who gets the rose. And I'm like, right there with you, bro. It is what it is. What it is. Like,
Yeah.
So time comes when everybody is everybody's dressed. We're all in our suits or our outfits or whatnot, and we go to dinner. And so everybody's kind of talking, and everybody's vibing again, and music. And I will say this too: one negative thing. We would. We were so focused on music, production would come and take our musical instruments away. Yeah, because they wanted us to work on relationships. Heard that before?
Right.
Have you heard that before?
I think so. Just that the focus is not on music. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. They were like, all right, we're done playing guitar. And we're like, really? We need y'all to work on relationships. So like,
You're
okay.
like, I'm not in kindergarten. Why are you ordering me around? That seems like a lot.
Nothing
Controlling?
Right, that they would do that. Because we're all musicians. That's what we love. That's how we communicate with each other.
Right.
Like,
right.
It would have been so much better if they would have just let us do music. They have no idea. There's something about the power of music and connections. Obviously, people at the mansion were attractive. Obviously, people were fun and talented. If that would have just happened naturally, it would have been so much sweeter. And I know
You took the words out of my mouth. I said that from the very beginning. I completely agree with you. Definitely.
Right. the other day, and she said the same thing. Like, they would just let us alone. Things would have happened, and it probably would have happened in the same way that it did,
Right.
because those connections were still there. But it would have happened so much more naturally and so much more beautifully if they would have just all. But they couldn't. Prod and put these two together and then go get her type situation, you know.
Right.
So I'll add that. So, well, actually, I'll hit on that after. So, we are in dinner, getting ready for the rose ceremony. Things because Sheridan's with Julia, and everybody's paired up, and it's like, yo, this is your last opportunity. Production's like, dude, this is your last opportunity. You need to do something. You need to do something special for Julia. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Only thing is, I don't have my phone. I don't have a car. I can't just take this girl out and be like, hey, some ice cream like normally, you know, or go walk down the beach or something like that, you know. So I have nothing to my disposal, you know, other than, so I don't know. I think I said something stupid like, let's get a helicopter and let's just go for a ride. You know, like there's something. I think I said something like that in production. Like, really? And I'm like, you said I need to do something special. That's freaking special. You give me a helicopter, we're gonna have a great trip. You know, and they were.
You're like, I think it's The Bachelor, isn't it?
So I think I said something like that. I don't remember what it was. It may not have been a helicopter, but I said something stupid like that, and they just kind of gave me the old. I said, well, look. I said, give me a bottle of wine. So just get a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne and put it on the front steps. And I'll go get her from Sheridan and we'll have a conversation. They're like, all right, cool. So they set it all up. Bottle of wine in front, or bottle of champagne. Now, granted, you got to understand this. Sheridan and I, like, again, we had talked. So he knew that I was going to walk up there. So anytime you see like, oh, he took her away from him. That's not what happened. Literally, walk up and you're like, hey, can I borrow Julia for a second? Sheridan's like, sure, man, no problem. You know, like there's zero animosity between Sheridan and I. So I walk up, hey, borrow you for a second. I got something special for us, you know? So we walk to the front steps and sit down. Now, this is what I didn't know was happening. As soon as I got Julia, of course, production runs to Sheridan. Hey, dude, he's got a bottle of champagne, blah, 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 blah. You got to do something. Oh. That's how it works. So when you see Sheridan while we were on the front steps, I knew that was going to happen. But I didn't know it was. So, of course, Sheridan with his beautiful locks of hair, which everybody likes, which is hilarious. And he's like, walks up behind me. He's like, hey, Julia, you know, why don't you come spend some time with me? And it was all right, cool. You know, whatever. That's what it was planned to be. Or not planned to be, but that's how. Actually, let me back up real quick. So, just because. So I was sitting on the, and a really cool thing happened. We sit down. These coyotes go crazy. They start howling, screaming, and yelping, and it was crazy. Julia, what is that? I was like, and being from Central Florida, we have a ton of coyotes. I was like, dude, she's like, no way, they do that? I'm like, oh yeah, that's absolutely coyote. So it was really cool. Like production's kind of like looking around, like, oh, we're gonna get attacked, but they're going crazy, which would have been a really cool thing for the show, but that didn't get shown either. Julie and I start talking. Actually, back up a little bit further. Again, so before dinner, I talked to Sheridan, and before dinner, I talked to Gabe, and I told Gabe, hey, dude, Julia is the only girl that I have any actual interest in. It's a short period of time. Part of it was my fault because I really wasn't like pursuing these girls. But the other part of it was just, it was a short amount of time. So I told Gabe, I said, dude, I'm not interested in anyone else. I'm not going to waste my time. This has been fun. Don't get a rose from Julia. I'm going to go home because is what it is. I don't want a rose from anybody else to stay because I'm not the type of person that's going to fake feeling something for somebody.
Right.
That's just not me. So I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. Even with any girl that I've dated, if I am not into you, you'll know. I can't hide it. I just can't. This is what it is, you know. So I told Gabe that. I talked to Sheridan about it. And I told Sheridan, I said, if I don't get a rose from Julia, I'm just going to go home. And Sheridan said the same thing. He's like, if I don't get a rose from Julia, it's the same thing. I'm not really feeling the vibe with anybody else. So I told him that actually, right before the rose ceremony, after Sheridan takes Julia, Sheridan and I talked. And he said, no matter what, dude, no matter what, if I get her rose, if you get her rose, we're going to be, no matter what, hugged it out or bros, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I said, I told her if I don't get her rose, I'm going home. He goes, yeah, so did I. I'm like, well, this is going to be freaking interesting then, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
So, I was pretty confident. I was actually really confident because, I had spent the whole day with her.
Yeah.
I was ready to rock and roll. I was good. I had a feeling. I had good feelings about it, good vibes about it. When I sat down with Julia, I actually told her, I said, look, I'm not really in anybody. I'm sorry, on the front steps. I said, I'm not really in anybody else. I don't want to waste anybody else's time. I'm not going to make some other girl feel like, just to stay on the show. I mean, and
Right.
she's like, that's the most,
mm-hmm.
That's so respectable. I was like, well, so as soon as I told her that, and Sheridan took her away, production grabbed me. All right, cool, let's do it. Walking into the moment interview, I knew something wasn't right because they started asking all these questions. Hey, we just heard that you told Julia that you weren't going to accept a rose from anybody else but her. Is that true? And I said, yeah. And they're like, well, what if somebody else offers a rose? And I'm like, I probably wouldn't take it. As soon as I said that, oh, well, that's when I really started doubting. So I really started to help, but started to get worried not because I wasn't worried that I wasn't going to get Julia's rose. I was worried that there would be some sort of influence that would change Julia's mind one way or the other because production had another idea of how they wanted the show to go.
Gotcha.
That's what I was nervous about. I was like, all right, so what's actually going to happen here? And on top of that, if I do get a rose from her, is it actually real or is it produced? Because that's Sheridan and I hugged it out. We became friends. We were friends. So it comes down to the rose ceremony. I'm trying to think about anything else. Hang on. Do you have any questions before I get in?
No, you're doing a great job telling the story. Good.
So I have a company, part owner in a company, and I'm the guy that sells things. So I'm the guy that goes out and gets the clients. So I'm good about rambling on and just talking.
You're just telling your story, which is why I have you here. So it's okay. And you're getting a lot of love. People are saying you're a good guy, that your mama raised you right. Very sweet.
Oh, so sweet. So we get to the rose ceremony. Talk to Sarah. I think you got it in the bag, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, I think you got it, dude. I really do. I think she really likes you. And I was like, dude, that's so nice of him to say that. And I was like, all right, cool, dude. Thank you. Wow, my goodness. Of course, I still hadn't, something just isn't right. I feel right. So going to the rose, they pair us all up. Of course, they put shit. If you look at the lineup, they certain ways. Like, and maybe I'm
They
wrong, but
put you cut out. Did you say they put you next to Sheridan? Is that what you said?
right next to Sheridan. Now, mind you, like, or
Of course.
I think they as far as the show went, they made it look like that Brandon and Julia had something going on.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Not even in the picture yet.
Oh.
Right. Right. Exactly. Like like Brandon, I think they had a conversation or whatnot, but I don't think there was anything, like, he hadn't even talked about it. He was into Savannah. So anyway, so Brandon wasn't even in the picture yet. Which was another thing that was so crazy. Anyway, so I'm standing there next to Sheridan, and I remember who the first rose went to. I think it was Savannah. Savannah was first, I believe. Was that right?
I think so, yeah. It's been
Savannah,
a while. I feel like it.
she picked Brandon. They walked off. I don't remember when it happened, but I remember standing there, sweating to death, with my bald head, sweat pouring down my head. And I remember having this gut feeling. Because remember, I told Julia that I wasn't going to take a roast to no one else. And I told Sheridan that. I told Gabe that. Mel, right before the roast ceremony, Mel had tried to talk to me, or we had talked a little bit. And I was like, oh, I had a feeling that to make a choice. So Mel gets, it's like the pause that they make you do. They make you stand there for like 10 seconds. So she like stands there, silent. Everybody else is silent. Standing there trying to breathe, lock my knees and pass out, and I remember she literally said, Josh. It was so terrifying, because here I am. I had already told Julia I would not accept Julia's or anybody's rose but Julia's. Julia hasn't gone yet. So I didn't know who she was choosing. I'm telling you, I stood there for a good 15 seconds. So they did not move. Not happening. There's no way this is happening right now. I have to make a decision. I scared him. He just kind of looks over at me. I have to go. He's like, "You're gonna have to go, bro." And I'm like, he kind of just turned to the side, like almost like, "Dude, you have to go."
As in have to leave the show or go accept the rose? What did he?
Approach Mel.
Okay.
I have to walk down there.
Right.
Freaking road or not. I have to with this. Chris Harrison is standing, and none of this makes television. I'm telling you, none of this made any type of airtime. Nobody mentioned it. Like, it was just gone.
No, so somebody just said, I have forgotten that part. No, this was never aired. All that we're talking about was never aired, right?
Got put anywhere. This whole thing, I have no idea, and I have no idea why. I guess I understand why. They needed a storyline, and because Brandon that was a better storyline. They would have had to show a whole lot more of me and then me leaving in order for this to be worth showing. But it really wasn't worth showing to them because I didn't stay and I'm a nobody, you know? So Sheridan just moved. And he's like, you gotta go, bro. And I'm like, all right, here we go. So I walked down there and she was like, I seemed like she was like so far away. I was like walking. And Chris Harris, and he's just, you know.
Stoic.
And I walked up to Mel and I was so terrified because I had two options, Aaron. Two options. I could say yes and take the rose. She offered a rose to me. She had this look on her face of like, I'm sorry. Like so terrified. Because she knew that I wasn't into her really. I mean, she's a sweet girl. It's not because she wasn't pretty or that I wouldn't date her. She just wasn't.
I love Mel.
Wasn't there, you know, and it had been a short period of time too. So I stood there in front of Mel and just looked at her, holding this rose, and I'm looking at her like,
what do I do?
If I say yes, I break my word to Julia. If I say yes, I am going to be the biggest villain on this show because I broke my word. And no matter how you cut it, a liar and someone who breaks their word like this, it's not a good look. So I had to make the choice, take the rose from Mel or tell her no.
So intense. Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
I stood there and I didn't say no. I looked at her and said, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know how it looks on camera. I haven't seen it. It might look good. It might look crazy. It might look bad. They can cut it how they want it. But I said, I'm sorry, I can't.
Cannot hear you, Josh.
I said, I turned around and walked right back to where I was standing. After I'm sorry, I turned around and went back.
Did you make eye contact with Julia? Like after you said, I can't, you did make eye contact. Okay.
I didn't know I didn't know what was happening. All I know is when I said, I'm sorry, I can't, everybody behind was like, Chris Harrison was like Chris Harrison doesn't break, but I'm telling you, he was probably this close to breaking. And I don't know if he'll back me up on this or not because I know he's not with me. But he might. You never know. Actually, hit him up to confirm this. But anyway, so Chris, I get back to my spot on the podium or on the. Chris said, he goes, well, I guess Josh, love is a two-way street. And I go, oh my God. Chris, you can't. That's not very nice. Right, you can't say that, man. So none of this makes television. None
of it.
Yeah. So yeah. Any questions?
So okay. At that point, I mean, do you know that you're like? Do you think you're going home at that point? Are you pretty sure you're going home?
Still relatively confident. I thought. No, I thought I was, because I thought in my mind, I thought that somebody in production, I really wasn't vibing with anybody at the time. I thought that somebody in production put Mel up to doing that to test me.
Oh, okay.
So I was I was upset. I was mad. I was so upset because it didn't make any sense to me because Mel and I hadn't really talked that much. We had said a couple words. Why would she give me her rose? I find out later why, but I was angry with production because I thought
I
they
was
tried to
right.
break my word.
I was gonna ask if you thought that they set you up. So okay, then yeah. And I don't put anything past production, so
Right,
I
right.
wouldn't be.
But and I don't say if that wasn't talked about, it could have been. Of course, no one will ever confirm or deny that Of course, this never happened, by the way.
Right, of course.
um,
So
so I go
then,
back.
yeah, go ahead.
So I go back to where I'm standing. Sheridan looks at me like, production. I'll go ahead and Mel. Go ahead and or Mel leaves the room. Because I mean that was rough. I felt so bad, man. I felt I had to tell somebody no on national television, or so I thought. Not because I didn't like her,
Yeah.
or not because I just hadn't had a chance to get to know her, and I had already given my word to somebody else. So they shut up the room. They walked her out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I felt horrible, but I didn't know I didn't have another option. At least in my book. I mean,
Yeah.
I've read several. Oh, you should have just taken the rose and whatever. But if I would have taken the rose, I would have broke my word to Juliet, and then I would have been there for the wrong reasons.
Well,
Really
yeah,
hoping to
and
meet somebody.
you don't know who Julia's giving her rose to either. So I'm sure part of you, I mean, did part of you feel like you're still gonna get a rose from Julia?
Like, I mean, maybe that was enough to like guarantee me to get a rose, like me keeping my word and being like, yo, like, hey, I'm into you. Like,
Right.
I told you no because I made you a promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I made you a promise. Like that in my mind, I was like, maybe that'll be like, hey, this guy's actually legit. This guy's just serious. You give somebody your word, and like you.
Yeah.
I mean, instead, I'm on a national television show, once in a lifetime opportunity, and I had to make a decision of, do I do I do I stay? Because I could stay, or do I?
Keep your word. So so tell us what happened when it was Julia's time.
So Julia gets up, and she's, of course, the moment of silence. Me and Sheridan are standing next to each other. She says, I don't know if you notice on the filming, she does say Sheridan's name, but when she says Sheridan's name, it was such a, she felt so bad because she knew that legit, like we were all, I kept my word no matter what, under the most stress you could have put somebody under, I kept my word. And she's like, Sheridan, like said it so quiet, and my heart just like fell. I'm talking like, oh man, like now I'm standing here with the guys that are going home instead of standing over there with everybody who's staying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
the response was like, holy crap, did I just make a big mistake? You know?
Yeah.
Chris Harrison walks up to all of us that are standing there. All right, guys, sorry, you're going to go home. Nobody says a word. Not
Wow.
a word. We all walk outside the mansion. Now, outside the mansion is when things, or outside the front door. Outside the mansion is when things get interesting, or got really interesting. So I'm banging, about to go back to our hotel to get all our stuff to hop on a flight because they fly you out like the night of. Like you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I didn't sleep. got back at the hotel on a plane, gone. Like there was no. I think my flight was at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get back to the hotel until like 4.
Oh my God.
They just get, you're gone. You're just, see ya. Carry your own bags. You're out. It's great. So I'm sitting in the van. Production, production comes out and like walks up to me, like the main people that are doing the production, and they walk up to me, the most serious looking on their face, like serious looks on their face, and they're like, "Dude," they shake my hand. They're like, "I can't believe that just happened." Like you, under no stress that any like you kept your word. You could have stayed, dude, and you said no because you were gonna keep. And literally, they were like shaking my hand, like we've never had that happen before. Like nobody's ever done that. At that time, I felt pretty good about it. I was like, well, I'm going home, but at least the world will know that I'm going to keep my word.
Oh,
you know, go home with a broken heart. But again, so um, anyway, yeah, it was crazy. So I get back to the hotel and they ship me home. So that's pretty much how that all ended.
and then you watch it. You're watching the first episode, right?
So this is what makes things even more interesting.
Okay. The plot thickens.
All right. So go back to Nashville, shows, everybody's still filming. I meet a girl that I had been talking, or hang out with a girl that I'd been talking to. We ended up dating. So we spent 3 months together in Florida. My home. COVID hits. We take off. We go to Florida. I'm in Florida. We're having a great time. And like a 2 days, 2 days before the show airs, I get a call. Hey, this is so and so with production. Someone I've never heard of. None of the producers that I'd ever talked to. So it's a young producer. It's a new producer, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, with NDK, blah 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 blah, and just wanted to touch base with you. We're excited about the show. The show's going to be airing. Are you excited? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the final edit looks like. And she goes, oh, just so you know, the last final edit that I watched, they actually don't really show you telling Mel, but I think it's a good thing because and she starts going on and on and on and on. Of course, when she said that, got it finally. There was flying around. When she said that, everything was just like, dude, you waited like 8 months, and now 2 days before the show airs, me and my girlfriend at the time were flying back to Nashville to have a little get together with all of our friends to watch it.
Right.
And you're telling me 2 days before that I'm barely in the thing. After all of this.
Oh my God.
What? Of course, I was livid. I mean, I was angry. And I was like, this is stupid. So, yeah. Any questions on that?
I just remember because we spoke way back. Do you remember we spoke like way back then? And
yeah.
I was because I forgot why. I think because I saw a live you did, or I saw a story. Someone sent me a story. I don't remember, but I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is happening? So, yeah, I wanted to know why there was like this huge disconnect and why you were basically cut out of the show.
Based complete. And Julia confirmed this. We both talked to her.
Yes. Happened? You guys, let me just say real quick. I mean, they know, like, you guys know that I'm really good friends with Julia. I have become really good friends with Julia. And I have to tell you, like, she's not on this live, but she would be. if she could be. She's doing a project that doesn't allow her to come live, she said. So just trust me. I know you guys trust me. I've always been like straight shooter with you guys. So Julia corroborates everything that Josh has been telling us. If she could, like I said, she would come live and also join us and join the conversation, but she can't do that at this time. She gave me her word and her permission for me to tell you guys that, yes, she backs up the story 100%. So I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer, you know, and it supports Josh because he was worried to come forward and have nobody support his story. And that's, you know, that's a scary thing. So just know that, and I'm sure Sheridan would support you. You know, I'm sure a lot of people would support you. So, but yes, Julia was 100% supportive of this situation and agreed it went down the way that Josh is telling us it went down.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah. So I ended up going back to Nashville. We watched the first episode. Of course, they showed me kissing Julia on the front steps. That was it. And then I was just basically cut out. The entire time, day was cut out. That entire day, like from the evening until the end of the night, with me and Julia spending time together, getting close, getting to know each other, was all cut out.
And their motive is because they wanted to create this narrative, you know, not really what happened, but they wanted to. And I've said this before, I feel like they storyboard, you know, I feel like, you know, they had an idea of how it was going to go, and you kind of threw a wrench into that, right? And they were like, okay, well, we're going to cut him out because he's not going to play, you know, he's not in our story anymore. So, but it's crazy and it's ridiculous.
I feel like I messed up. So I feel like I messed up their entire plan. And I'm stubborn, unfortunately. And I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like they wanted me to stay. I feel like I could have been a good character story.
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
very watchable.
right. Hang on just a second. That's real about reality TV, that's for sure. But I feel like they wanted me to stay. Yeah. So I'll tell you this. When I was in the hotel before I even went to the mansion, they showed me photos. They showed me 3 photos of 3 girls. They're like, "Hey, what you think about these?" And I'm like, "All right, all right." So
Wow.
I feel like they were, but I threw a wrench in the plan. I'm stubborn. So.
Did they show you, can you tell us who those photos were of? Like who was in those photos? Can you tell us?
Yeah. So the first one was Savannah.
Okay.
Second one was Jamie. And
And Julia was the last.
Bree.
Oh, Bree. Okay, got it. Interesting. So do you think that they were showing photos to everyone? Most likely, right?
I asked. Not everybody got photos.
Good on you. Not everybody got photos.
No, not everybody got photos.
Right, that's what I said. Not everybody. That's crazy. Wow. That's really interesting. Yeah. I have never heard that, Josh. Now I'm curious if like the lead got photos of any of his contestants, or, you know, if it was a female lead, if they got, that is really interesting. Oh my gosh.
Where they brought 3 photos to me.
Wow.
They're like, "What do you think about these 3?" I was like,
Oh my gosh.
Let's get to know them.
Interesting.
Never happened in any Bachelor shows, but I can tell you, right, hand to God, hand to the Bible, they showed me 3 photos. Wow. And their thing was, here, we're trying to help you out a little bit.
Okay.
Whoops, spilled a little.
I am so curious.
They
Spill
probably
a
won't
little
like.
tea there. I mean, you know, they didn't treat you very well, Josh. So
So
I
here I
say
will.
about
I have not seen it, so I'm a little nervous that the way that it looks. Like I walked down there and told her, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Maybe it just looks, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it just looks so bad that they didn't want to air it.
that. I'm trying to recall, honestly. I'll have to go back and watch it. And yeah, I'll go back and watch it if you want. And I can screenshot that part for you if you want to see it. Like, I'm happy to do that.
Don't know how. No, I don't know how it looks like with me telling her no.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know so bad that they didn't want to air it, or I don't know. So, but I will tell you this. So I was actually open to talking to production for a while there, and being like, "Yo, like, let me do Bachelor in Paradise, or let me do The Bachelorette, or let me do something like that." And they told no, or they said, "Look for a different network."
Wow. Okay. Unbelievable. I am so sorry you were treated that way, Josh. I really am very sorry you were treated that way. And I do appreciate you coming and telling your story. I think that it's important. We're going to share this. People need to know. I really feel it's important. And it's just for Josh, like for real. I'm going to start that hashtag, justice for Josh. It's
I would love.
upsetting.
I am single now.
He's single. Slide in the DMs, ladies.
I would love. I would love to do another reality dating show, but I don't know which one to do. I would have to kind of look into it. I mean, I've looked around. I've I've looked around, and I don't really know anybody on any of the other shows or anything. And I guess MTV's got a new show coming out. There's some stuff on Netflix. I don't. You mentioned it on Becca's podcast. What was the name of that one? It's like a dating show.
Yes, I can't remember it now, but yeah, there's Love Island. There's a bunch. Love is Blind. They're, doing that again, a few seasons of that. Yeah, I think you'd be great. I mean, I definitely get word of this a lot. So I'll keep an eye out and let you know. They're always asking me, do I know anyone who wants to be a part of it? So.
Who knows? I will say this too. The show gave me a little bit of notoriety. So occasionally I get recognized. Now that I have hair, it's less because I look different with hair. But it's led to so many better things. I moved back, ended up after I stopped dating the girl I was dating, moved back home. I'm in Florida now. Started a company with a friend of mine who I'm sitting at his house at the moment. And we've been doing great. It has led to so many great, such positive, like my life is such, after the show, it kind of went downhill and it was rough. And then ever since, coming back home and really just kind of getting myself together, it's been incredible. It's been more of a blessing than anything. So, I'm doing great. So positive
I'm so glad
vibes.
to hear that. And you know why? It's because you're a good guy, and you did the right thing. You stuck by your word. If you don't have your word, you have nothing, right? That's all you have. So the fact that you did that, I mean, karma. You deserve all of that, all the success, and you're gonna find your person. I know you are. And I'm a dating coach, so remember that if you ever need my help. But actually, I have someone in mind that I'm gonna DM you about because I think that you would really like her. So. I'll let you.
I have a ton of girls that I've been on dates with, and we're just friends. Because I mean, can't do that. I don't know. I have. So Somebody says sing. You gonna make me sing?
Yes, I was gonna say before we wrap up, I always have, you've seen my other shows with the Listen
I
to Your
have.
Heart people, and like Becca sang for me last weekend. It was beautiful, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, so beautiful. So yeah, just your favorite song, a few, however long you want to go, but no pressure, just whatever you feel like singing.
Let's see. As long as you don't make me sing. Um, let's do let's see. Good morning, beautiful. How about that?
Perfect.
Ready? Good morning, beautiful. How was your night? Mine was wonderful with you by my side. And as I open my eyes, see your sweet face. It's a good morning, beautiful day.
Yay! I'm going to clap for everyone because they can't clap, but
I
that
didn't get
was
to.
beautiful. Thank you so much. What'd you say?
I didn't get to sing on the show at all.
Oh, so stupid. You have such a beautiful voice. You really do, Josh. Like, I hope that you're able to do something, with it. If that's what you want to do. I mean, I know you love your businesses and where it's going and everything, but yeah, I
So
hope you do.
I plan on. I still have a ton of friends in Nashville. I'm just kind of staying out of there at the moment because that's where the X is.
Uh,
I back and hanging out with my friends and the music side of things and kind of you know I do want to do something. I still haven't music ever. Um, Again, I was just so I plan on trying to get some good music written and maybe releasing something um, just because I have a voice, and I'd love for other people to hear it, and maybe even be able to you know help other people with it. So, but one day at a time.
yeah, maybe you and Sheridan need to do a duet.
So Sheridan and I actually wrote a song together. He came and stayed with me right after the show. He came and stayed with me.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
wrote one together. We did.
Um,
So somebody you love. Uh, you can only love somebody that because you can't see their mistakes. Yeah, I can't remember how it goes, but something like that.
oh, Sheridan's like the only person I haven't had on. Oh, and Savannah. I haven't had Sheridan or Savannah or Trevor, actually. That's like the only three people I haven't had on from the show.
I don't
So,
Trevor. I talked to him a little bit. I saw him in Nashville a couple times. Sheridan and I are friends, and I'm surprised you haven't had him. Sheridan is he is such a good guy, man. Just him and Gabe moved to Nashville. They crashed in my living room.
I love Gabe. Gabe is a
Yeah.
sweetheart. Yes.
Gabe is a saint. He is the closest
Literally.
thing perfection I have ever. If okay, if somebody was to ask me who's the best person I know, it's Gabe Baker. Gabe is the sweetest, most genuine I've ever met in my entire life. I wish they would have showed more of him. I wish they would have put him on a pedestal and just made him the most famous person on the planet. He is an incredible person.
I agree. I agree. I loved hearing his story. I love hearing about his parents. He loves his family. It's beautiful how much he loves his family. So shout out to you, Gabe. We love you, Gabe. But yeah, Sheridan is welcome to come on. I'll have to reach out to him. Maybe say a good word if you don't mind, Josh. I'd love to have him on.
I don't know if I know he's so busy, him and his plants. Uh, I'll reach out to him. So,
Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming to me and sharing your story with me. I feel honored and I'm so happy we're able to do this. I've loved getting to know you. I think you're a great guy. Like I said, I just, you were done wrong, and justice for Josh. I'm going to literally use that hashtag. I really feel that way, but yeah, definitely. Yes. But I'm glad you are living your best life and you have so much more of it ahead of you. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for you, Josh.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a long one, but hey, we had a lot to talk about. So thank you for hanging in there. And by the way, I'm going to release Matt Donald's part 2 of Batch After Dark tonight. So be ready for that. It's going to be even spicier than the first part. So we're having a lot of fun over there at Batch After Dark. You guys, awesome, amazing, love it. I am so blessed to do this. I am so yelling at me. Low battery. Okay, fine. It's going to hang up. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Josh, thank you so much. I know we'll be in touch and really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Dude, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Of course.